Hello, I'm sure, it's been a long time since I've used this channel, and some of you might be wondering where I've been, and the fact that this is not an animation or whatever, which is what I used to do. It's been literal years and whatever, and I know the last few videos were trying to be a bit more like video essay type stuff, but I really haven't been able to animate in a very long time. I've mostly just been running my Twitter account. But I suppose that I might as well come back with a little, autism-filled rant. So, Ultrakill, anyone? I figured probably not, but I have too many feelings on this topic to just sit down and only, keep it balled up inside. I am a pretty big fan of V2. He really doesn't have much, but he's something that just really calls out to me. And what I wanted to talk about, and what I've been thinking about lately, is just how little weight or presence he has in either of his fights. Obviously, his little intros do give him, some amount of weight and presence, because him bowing does, have a little bit of, character and stuff, and him on that throne is raw as hell, and I'm not about to say that it isn't, but the thing is, neither of his fights are at all connected to the, layers that they're in. It's just, what is V2 doing in Limbo? What is he doing in Greed? And the answer to both of those questions is IDK. There's nothing that at all relates him to either of those, and it's kind of a bit, sad in a way, I know that V2 really isn't supposed to have that much presence, since he is just, you fight him, and then, you get his arm, because he is literally just a red V1 that has the arm that you need, but there's something that just, it's just a lack of use when it comes to him. He has so much untapped potential, it's kind of crazy, and I don't mean to, say that in terms of him overshadowing Gabriel, because Gabriel is fundamentally the true protagonist of Ultrakill, but it's just, he lacks so much that it just makes him sort of feel hollow, even though he is a soulless shell, but, him, dropping in is such a big surprise in Limbo, but it's just, it didn't really have to be. Obviously, I don't mean, him being a surprise was not a good thing, but it's I find it to be, I would really appreciate it if there was, a context given to him throughout Limbo. What is he doing in the mansion? What is, what had he been doing to get up to this point? What kind of marks would he have left on the environment? What are his direct motivations for being in Limbo? Which obviously is the obvious thing, but it's what is he doing in that specific mansion of Limbo? Because obviously the Ultrakill, layers are a lot larger than we actually see in the game. But it's just kind of lacking. It just sucks how much of V2's stuff is just an afterthought, because, to be honest, the reason why he is in Limbo and Greed is probably just, oh, he's the boss fight for them, just, he doesn't have any meaning to really be there. The fact that sentries only appear in, Wrath, which he doesn't get to, but he's able to make the whiplash out of, scavenged parts from them. It's just, I wish I could have seen, just a little bit more, weight given to him. It's to bring up an example that I feel will help me with my very, tangent-filled rant, Virgil in DMC3 is a very, very, very good rival. They do a lot with him that really works well. Especially because of the fact that it's the first time you fight him, you, really think you're, the hot shit, especially since you had climbed all the way up to the top of the Temenigru, but Virgil just demolishes you. But I guess just to say, that isn't something that would happen in Ultrakill, because Ultrakill is fundamentally V1 wins every fight he's in. But it doesn't necessarily have to be that. It can also be about V2's own failure to win against V1. maybe something about that would have affected V2 and caused him to change the environment. like, maybe he could have, like, there would be, like, corpses of, like, hideous masses or sentries in, like, a big pile or something that would relate to him making the whiplash. I guess just to say, I am bringing up the whiplash a lot, but that is the only thing that V2 does. Like, maybe it would be interesting to see if, like, maybe, like, I don't know, like, fought in similar opponents to V1 in order to try to, like, get better than him, or maybe see some sort of alternate route he would have taken to get to the points that he's at. It's just, I guess just to mention also, because I keep bringing up V2 in relation to as a rival, which isn't really the case with Ultrakill. Gabriel is V1's rival, but I kind of feel like Gabriel also kind of is a bit lacking in that department, because it's like, obviously, he has a lot of the, like, presence and, like, characterization that a rival needs to have, but it's like, the specific thing that gets to me is the fact that his goal, like, in the flesh is such a, it kind of just feels weird. Like, obviously its purpose is V1 has gone too far into hell and Gabriel needs to, like, kick him out, which he fails to do, obviously. But it's like, why is he in gluttony? Like, why didn't he just show up in lust and or greed or any of the other, like, layers? Like, what is Gabriel's connection to gluttony? And that's like, and what reason would he have tried to stop V1 there? Like, maybe he had, like, set it up before V1 showed up to try to, like, trap him and get him. Since, obviously, there's a lot of traps you could set up in gluttony, because there's, like, stomach acid or whatever. But it's like, he just doesn't have any of that. And it's like, obviously, there's a speech during the gameplay, like, the getting to Gabriel, the Gabriel fight in the flesh, where he's, like, doing his speech. But that's kind of like, I feel like it would have benefited a little bit from at least having something like that in Belly of the Beast. So that it's like, I wonder who this mysterious figure is. Maybe it's the angel from the stained glass painting, which obviously the player probably wouldn't think, but it would be interesting. But it's like, he also kind of lacks that, and it's like, it just doesn't feel right, you know? Also, I guess just to mention, even though I've been, like, touching on this, V2's own relation to the rest of Ultrakill, which is just so kind of sad, where it's like, he only exists just to give you 2 arms, then explode, which almost feels like the devs shooting themselves in the foot, because it's like, Ultrakill is more of, like, gameplay, and, like, it's not really about that, but it's like, there's something that it's like, they're, like, intentionally, like, short-selling what they can do with V2, because, he just needs to die, that's the entire point. And it's like, maybe there's something where it's like, they could give the gratification of, it's like, the first time you fight him, you aren't, you aren't really strong enough to get him, and you let him get away. But then the second time, you're not getting away this time. Which would be really cool, but nothing's really utilized in relation to that. Even though you're not getting away text is only there because people were misunderstanding what, like, the second half of Claire de Solio meant. Which, I guess makes sense, but that is technically the only characterization V1 gets, even if it technically isn't his dialogue, which, I guess that's fine. V1 isn't really meant to get characterization, but, like, there's something that's so, like, Gabriel works as a rival and stuff for V1, but it's like, V2 is just V1. He's just him, but better, but he loses. Like, there's so much that could, like, work with that, and it's like, there's something that makes me kind of sad about how little the devs are interested in, like, doing anything with that, especially since V2 is super, ultra, hyper, infinite hyper death. So, obviously, never coming back soon. Which, I guess, just to mention, now that we're kind of nearing the end of how much I can even say about this topic, V2's only crowning moment, V2's only moment that is really his own, which is the second half of the Claire de Solio boss fight. The moment when you're sliding down the pyramid, because one, that's the only time his location actually, like, factors into himself. That's him trying to get away, and it's like, this is all of his characterization brought up to one point. Because he's trying to get away, but he's obviously failing, and it's like, the first time you see him, he was sliding, and now the last time you see him, he's sliding. So it's very, like, it's just so very cool, and it's like, obviously the entire concept of you're sliding down a pyramid, killing the red version of you is very cool, but it's just, the moment he falls onto the pavement and explodes is the moment you never have to think about him again, which, to be honest, really shouldn't be said about a character. Like, V2 obviously isn't really a character, considering everything I've said up to this point about, like, the devs in relation to him, but it's like, even with the ferryman, who winds up having a lot more presence and weight than the actual boss of the Wrath Lair, you might actually think about him once you fight Gabriel later on, because it's like, there's just such an integral thing where it's like, his weight is given to him by, like, another character, and it's so, you can see how that's affected the ferryman. You can see how he built the entire Ship of Fools to have so many, like, little references to Gabriel. He even made an entire hologram of him, and it's like, it has a very strong weight to it, but it's like, V2 never gets anything like that, and neither does Gabriel, really. It's like, I don't know. I feel like I've gone on too long about this, and it's like, obviously, this is Hikida's game. He can do whatever he wants with it. I have zero control with it, and I want to make sure just to say that I'm very thankful for them for making this game. This is I love Ultrakill. It is a very good game. It's almost upsetting to me how little how short they're selling their own, like, characters and stuff when it comes to the game, and it's like, I guess, I don't know, it's theirs to do with, and I have no part to really, like, get mad about that and whatever, because, yeah. I suppose we've now finally reached the end of this little video. I thank you for watching to the end, and I hope my voice has sounded a little bit better in all the years I've been gone. I thank you for watching, and I'm glad you decided to watch this Ultrakill video from a channel that's never posted anything about Ultrakill before. So, yeah, I guess check out my Twitter if you're not already from there, and, I don't know, like, comment, subscribe, please sub, thank you.